Today is the 25th day of the month of Kislev, otherwise known as the first day of Chanukah. We finished the laws and customs of Chanukah, and therefore going back to our chronological order, the Kislev. We're beginning chapter 31, discussing how no matter what we're doing in our lives, even taking care of physical needs, it shall all be done for the sake of heaven, L'Shem Shamayim. We will be doing the entire chapter, going from paragraph 1 through paragraph 7. Paragraph 1. The Talmud quotes a verse from Mishlei, from Proverbs, which says, B'chol drachecha de'ehu. In all your ways, you should know him, in other words, God. Explains the Talmud, what this means is that even when we're taking care of our regular day-to-day life, we're not necessarily studying Torah, we're not necessarily doing mitzvahs, just living our day-to-day life, even then we should have in mind that we're doing it for the sake of heaven. And here are some examples. When we're eating, when we're drinking, if we're just sitting around, or going on a walk, taking care of any of our physical needs, all these should be done in the service of God, or to accomplish something to enable service of God. In the following paragraphs, we'll break this down to go through each scenario. How do you do this in the service of God? Paragraph 2. So how does one eat and drink in service of God? Obviously, this includes only eating kosher foods, but that's not really what we're talking about over here. We're talking about something much more than that. When I'm enjoying my kosher burger, I'm supposed to try to make sure I'm doing it for the sake of heaven. I'm doing it to build a relationship with God. How do we do that? By having in mind, by me eating this food, I'll now have strength to pray. I'll have strength to study Torah. I'll have the strength and presence of mind to be a better parent, a better spouse, a better child. If I feel horrible, there's no way I could then help other people. What does this mean? This means that I don't just eat what tastes good or what I enjoy. I eat what's good for me. And by doing so, I'm uplifting. I'm turning eating my regular kosher meal, I'm eating the same meal, but having this thought in mind, I'm now transforming this meal from being merely something physical to something spiritual. Paragraph 3. How do we sit, stand, or walk in service of God? Explains the Kislev that we're affected by our environments. Whether I'm sitting here or I'm going on a walk, whether I'm standing around somewhere, I have to think about whose presence am I standing in? Whose presence am I going to be spending time in? Am I going to be in the presence of people that will bring me down? Or am I going to be in the presence of people that will lift me up? We have to realize that even if we come in certain ideas, we have very strong ideals, we still are human beings and therefore will be affected by our environment. We have to make sure that we put ourselves in environments that encourage growth and connection to Hashem, not, God forbid, the opposite. Paragraph 4. How does one sleep in service of Hashem, in service of God? So, of course, one could wake up in service of God, getting up to study Torah, getting up to go pray, or staying awake late at night to study Torah. That's a way of using sleep, not necessarily going to sleep, but dealing with sleep in a way of service of God. But even if someone is actually going to sleep, they're exhausted, they're going to sleep, they still could go to sleep. That going to sleep could be a catalyst for connecting to God. Because if they go to sleep, they have in mind, I'm laying down, I'm going to sleep just like by eating, in order to have strength to study Torah tomorrow, to have strength to go to shul, to go join a minyan tomorrow, to go daven, to pray. I'm going to have strength tomorrow to do our mitzvahs. I'm going to have strength tomorrow. I'll have the presence of mind and the calmness to be a better spouse, a better parent, a better sibling, a better member of the community. We all know that when we're tired, when we're exhausted, we're not, most people at least, aren't as nice. We don't get along as well with other people. And therefore, if I have in mind I'm going to sleep, that I'm not just going to sleep because I'm exhausted. I'm going to sleep because I want to make sure that tomorrow I'm going to act in a better way. I'm going to be a better person. That's transforming my sleep from merely something physical to something spiritual. I'm now using my sleep in service of Hashem. Paragraph 6. How does one speak in service of Hashem? So we, of course, have all the rules we learned about back in chapter 30 about the laws of Lashon Hara, about proper speech. We have to make sure that we're not speaking Lashon Hara, or rechilus. Remember, rechilus is when I tell one person what somebody else said about them. We have to make sure that we're speaking in a refined way. We're not using vulgar language and vulgar expressions. Of course, this would include not cursing and things of that nature. And also to make sure that when we're speaking, if we're speaking in ways that give people encouragement, that lift people up, that make people feel appreciated, these are all ways that we can use our speech in service of Hashem. Paragraph 7. How does one engage in business in service of Hashem, in service of God? So this is also similar to the eating and drinking and to the sleeping. If I go to work and have in mind that I'm going to work to bring in a livelihood, that I could support my family, to take care of my spouse, take care of my children, to live a Jewish life. Living a Jewish life is very expensive. There's so many things we have to buy, different holidays, lulav and esrog on Sukkot, Chanukah menorah, oil candles, celebrating Shabbos, kosher food is crazy expensive, day school tuition for Jewish education, that's extremely expensive. So if I go to work and have in mind that I need to make a livelihood in order for my family to be able to live a Jewish life, in order for me to be able to give charity, to support community institutions, to take care of other people, that is upgrading my work, my business, from just being a vocation to being something that is now spiritual. When I go to work and I put in the daily grind, the 9 to 5, that's now becomes something spiritual. I'm engaging in spirituality all day long. The main idea, I think, if you want to put it into a 21st century word, is mindfulness. Instead of just going through the daily routine, whether it's eating, sleeping, going to work, whatever it is, if we're mindful about what we're doing, we focus on it and we think, why am I doing this? What's the positive benefit that'll come out of this? Then we're transforming living a physical life, we're transforming it into something spiritual. This concludes today's episode. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the first day of Chanukah.